Hey, I have to say I like the little quote that I added that knowledge is a pursuit, not an answer. And I was just sitting here finishing up my hit by a dupe, which is personal prayer with the Creator, and I was just asking him to bless this message so that it hits hearts and souls like arrows because I'm coming here to help y'all. Um, I wanted to answer my own questions today, so I had somebody ask me um, if the creator is the one the world knows as Prince Rogers Nelson, then how could he be a person and the creator and everything like that at the same time? Um, the answer lies in the fact that we're all reincarnated souls. And just because you see what you see in front of you, this Elizabeth vessel or that Prince Rogers Nelson vessel, the soul that's on the inside of me and on the inside of you and on the inside of everyone is well, we're all part of the creator, but um, it's the part you don't see. And so that concept might be a little bit easier for me to understand because I was in the afterlife and it was explained to me. So I'm trying to explain it to you the best I can remember. And um, as that first man and King David and Prince Rogers Nelson and various reincarnated souls, I also went through these soul cycles. And it was explained to me when I was in the afterlife that these things, of course, as I've explained, um, I'm the only one that could tell them because I'm the only one that had watched him as Prince long enough uh, and lovingly enough, whilst at the same time reading my Bible and searching for God with all of my heart and soul. Because I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos, then you know that my quest for all things God has been first on my agenda since '93. As I said, I wanted to find him to thank him and talk to him, and because I had so many devastating things happen around me to the people that I love and everything like that. And I knew that I was kept alive. I wanted to find him and seek him and thank him. And then when I stood in the afterlife in 2010 and he showed me his, one of his selves as Prince, what I wanted to say, you guys, was I wanted to answer that question that I put forth is why would the creator of everything like show himself like that, sing sexually and do all these things and licking the guitar and the lyrics and all that? But it's a really deep answer, so hang in there with me. You can go on YouTube and you will hear people talking about various singers who sold their soul to the devil and this and that for fame and fortune, and the Illuminati and the New World Order controlling the music industry, and all those things exist. Very much so, and it existed so much at, like, Paisley Park was the headquarters for it, man. It was just very well hidden because the cleaner it looks from the outside, the more believable it is to the outside, which is us. But anyway, back to the souls. In the beginning, what had happened was, think about this. If you were taught Christianity, I need to make a comparison for a minute. The way that the world was taught that Jesus was crucified and tortured and beaten in the crown of thorns and so on, those things are like a walk in the park compared to what has happened to our Creator. See, because instead of them killing him as Christ is portrayed to be killed, and again, this is just a comparison, he said that he would by some way of trade or something. Think about the song about the wages. When will we be paid the wages? He told all the evil of the world, he gave them a certain time that he would make them like rich and famous beyond their wildest dreams, and not just in music, but in the religions, in religious cultures and things like that. He allowed them a certain time to make their sale on the world, their sales pitch like a salesperson, and and that time is over, but I mean it's coming to a close, thank God. And but anyway, so the people that you see out there perpetrating, Pope Francis, I talk about a lot. The X Center across the street from Paisley Park that practices out of body spiritual experiences. I think it was founded by Paul Twitchell or something like that. And then Harold Sree Klemp, which is very much like Howard Kornfeld. When they refer to the facility in the file, they're always, I think, referring to the X Center. Because the creator gave them for a time access to his intellectual property and the power of him, which is all things. Again, I've mentioned, to the best of my discernment, that has something to do with CERN. And that's why the name Prince R. Nelson spells CERN in the middle, that they were trying to recreate. Or, I don't know, do something with the power of the creator, recreate it or something, and pass it on to the next generation as something else. And that's where the electrocution that I mentioned in a couple of my videos, plectrum electrum, takes place, because not only are we reincarnated souls, you guys, but we're more like machines than you might be able to grasp. Maybe some of you, Matrix fans and stuff like that can understand, because it's very much like that. Your soul is somewhere else, and everything that you do here affects the upper world. So, you and your little tunnel, every single thing that you can do good, it lights up that tunnel, but everything that you do that's bad and evil and dark and lying, puts husks into that tunnel and makes it dark, and it makes the world dark. So, got to be as bright as you can be. Anyway, as that reincarnated soul, you guys, I want to get back to that for a minute, because I'm answering my own question and somebody that asked me. The answer to that was, how Prince, and I'm just going to say Prince, even though I know that it's not his real name. You know how he was portrayed to be super duper duper sexual? Well, that's because that goes back to the Garden of Eden and all the sex that took place there, that went wrong, and all the adultery and the animals and unfortunate bestiality and creations of things that should not be. And the life force of the males at that time spilled all over and creating funkadelic things that somehow, in some way that I don't really comprehend, those were, his children or somehow like that. And then we too, because he made us, like, we in this world, all of us souls, we're all part of that mixed, crazy, sexually deviant seed somehow, but we're also mixed with the DNA of the creator. And because of that, a lot of times people will say the yin and the yang, the wolf and the lamb, it depends on who you feed more. But it truly is the two sides of seed in a way. And he said, yeah. And so it's like when you watch scary movies and you play violent, raunchy, rapey video games, you're feeding that negative Cain, the lineage of Cain within you. And when you're singing and joyous and taking care of kids and teaching and being your best shiny self, well, then you're more in touch with, the Abel and the lineage and Seth and all the, the good music makers and stuff like that. So, and again, that's why the creator show, was Prince Rogers Nelson, was like a music maker, because it's music. He is music. And he said it many times. So, anyway, you guys, allowing oneself to be horrifyingly tortured, both in the physical realm as well as the spiritual upper worlds, your intellectual property, your memory. One of the most horrifying things that I remember that he told me when I was there was that because he had contractually bound his intellectual property intellect with theirs, that all the evil things like that have taken place in the world um, are, and I mean all of them, all the orgies, killing of children, God forbid, all the traffic, just everything, you guys. I don't even want to mention the words because they horrify me, but everything evil and beyond that you could possibly think of is seared onto his memory because it is part of his intellect. So that's how there was going to be like a portrayal of some alien antichrist situation somehow with the holographic intellectual property memory. Again, this is to the best of my memory and ability to say. Um, so, um, anyway, you guys, the clone, I'm not sure. Somebody asked me behind the scenes the other day when was the last time that the real prince was seen, and I said I didn't know because, from the best of my understanding, when I was in my afterlife, uh, the image of Prince Rogers Nelson that he showed me was only one. It was just an image. It wasn't, I mean, it was like, it wasn't solidified where I was. And he explained that he, because he's everything, uh, he can be whatever. That was just one of the ways he showed himself. And I think it had something to do with, getting the world's attention and getting them to watch, but also maybe his, if I'm not mistaken, it went really far back as to some perfectly designed specimen of some sort. I'm not sure, but his his ancientness, his ability to be reanimated was used and abused, like I always say, beyond comprehension. And if anybody's out there watching that is knowing about the Illuminati and the torture that I've talked about in a lot of my papers and essays and stuff like that, you guys, it's so grotesque. And then, of course, people wonder why somebody would want to self-induce fentanyl. Well, again, from the best of my recollection in my life after, he told me that there was to be some kind of ceremony, occult, something where they took and made the intellectual property theirs forever, or did something with what I call the skin suit, the vessel, did something with the clone in 2010. I'm not really sure, you guys. I don't claim to have all the answers. Knowledge is a pursuit. And that's why somebody would want to self-induce fentanyl. So there's a lot of things that that happen, you guys, and it's occult. I don't know if that's a word. It goes back to biblical times and the lineages, and it's really quite disgusting. But this is the deal in our world. I was born in 1970, and people that are my age will understand that we, as a culture, were sold on mass media. It began as a black and white TV in a living room with rabbit antennas, V for Vatican, rabbit ears. They hear everything, they watch everything. It's the CIA in the Vatican. They are the hidden lineage, but it's not just him. I know I'm always tearing him up. Pope Francis, actually, it's Pope Jorge. If you don't watch my Facebook, then maybe you don't know. Pope Francis is actually Pope Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Um, and I get very much into the dates of his birth on some of my other videos and how it coincides with the 369, which actually spells 18, because 369 equals 18, which is 666, or life. Think about it. I don't know how well you guys can see that sign behind me. It's the one I explained on the whiteboard video the other day. But what I wanted to say was that from the best of my recollection, the reason that I'm always vilifying him is because he was the one that was disguised as Constantine and Satan, because it's Constantine, who sold the New Testament in 1611, selling himself as the Savior Jesus when he rewrote the New Testament with Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and so on. And it's M and M, Matthew, Mark, Luke. It's like MK Ultra, but it's M and M, 33rd degree Mickey Mouse killers. It just got to watch all the videos. So these reincarnated souls on the other side, they took the real Torah, the knowledge of the sages and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the other ancestors, and they took it and twisted it and wrote a new book and said, hey, my reincarnated Constantine self, my reincarnated, I don't know how many popes self, trying to pass themselves off as the savior. It's ugly. I won't stand for it. And when I was there, it was told to me somehow, some way, that he was the one. I call him a he, she, because it has some kind of feminine energy going on behind the scenes that I really can't explain. And because George, wanted to be the creator, went around taunting the world, accusing them, being your accuser. You know what I mean? The one that whispers in your ear, you're guilty, you're fat, your nose is too big, you don't work hard enough, whatever your things are, your accusers. They accuse you in the afterlife too, but they were given a place to do that by the creator, but only to make you better. And so anyway, he wanted to be the creator because he's such a narcissist that somehow contractually it went down behind the scenes that way at the Paisley Park skin suit factory where they change identities. The Pope is left-handed, and the clone lookalike Prince in the files is left-handed too. I'm always trying to tell you guys in the investigation files that, like, for instance, if you look at the photos in the bedroom that they call Prince's, first of all, Prince Roger Nelson sang about it all the time. He didn't watch TV. He wouldn't have two remotes on the bed, and the nightstand wouldn't be on the left-hand side of the bed. If you're right-handed, you're going to put your nightstand on that side. So also the pictures that are out there of the Prince wannabes, the lookalikes, the one is definitely left-handed because Prince Rogers Nelson, right-handed, played the guitar that way, always did the ear thing that way, but you see the pictures of the other clone, the Prince, doing it with his left hand and doing it in like this, and that would have never happened either. So left-handed. So I know it sounds weird, you guys. Sounds weird coming out of my mouth. That's why I I come here and talk freely, because you can't prepare over what you're going to say. This is the deal, you guys. He gave his self, his essence, his seared his consciousness, his memory with things too gross to mention. And I think they were planning on doing something like that again, or something like that actually that involved me, because I'm attached to the creator in every way, and he uses me as his vessel. Then because he allows me to scratch the surface of that same dot, the wisdom of his I forgot what I was going to say. It happens. These things that I try to explain to the general population, they make me seem like I'm high or in a dream world or whatever else. But this is the other thing that was told to me when I was there, is, again, another reason why he had to bring me, why the creator made me die on September 20th, 2010, because this wisdom had to be imparted to me at that certain time. to show me how in control of everything that he is, no matter what happens in the world, no matter what we see around us. And then because he was giving me that information, if I hadn't have stood in the afterlife, then people would really probably write me off as just crazy. But when you're there, it it's like people that do drugs and DMT and mushrooms, and they say, "Oh, I saw lights and colors and aliens and this and that." There is a different place, an upper world. Now, I don't do those, and I mean, I told you guys my history, but never did DMT. But that's what I'm talking about, because obviously, when you die, your DMT explodes, yada yada. The creator had told me that the access to our memories, which is our intellectual property and or our soul, it is one. I keep saying intellectual property, you guys, and if you're not familiar with that, it just is everything that you are. It's your, I think it's the same as your soul. So um good golly, when you're talking about stuff like this, it's hard to remember. Oh yeah, that because I had died, that I was able to see these things, and there was no other way to show them to me or to help me to help the world understand that these things are true, other than making me die in that moment. Um, that, and also with the so-called hip surgery that was being done in 2010. Something medical was being done at that time, or somebody was dying, and or there was a court. I did a lot of things in the time I was there in the afterlife, because there's no time. But my main purpose in coming here today, you guys, was to to talk about the creator and to make you understand why you could see him as Prince gyrating around on stage and screaming about, insatiable sex and this and that. Well, again, it goes back to the sex in Enoch 6 1 6, excuse me, Enoch 6 1 through 6, where the sky people chose women and came down and had sex with them. And then on Mount Hermon made a pact, an occult pact, to not tell anybody. Well, they made offspring. And then people in the New Testament, they believe that, the animals, just Noah and everything, and everybody washed away in the Nephilim and the giants. But it says even after that, they walked the earth. So what I'm saying is there was remnant seed still hanging around somewhere. And that because of the sex, you guys, everything, like, think of the quadrillion, gajillion, quadruple, quadruple, like Tupac would say, pornographic industry, you guys. Think of how huge it is. That's the money that I'm talking about. That's the money that I'm talking about, that not only did the creator make those others rich beyond their wildest dreams in every aspect in life, the others, the evil ones, wanted to be paid for the time that they spent here, because they considered it suffering. They consider us as a human race very vile and they want us to die. People that know about depopulation, eugenics, it's all real, you guys. It's not just made up. It's this world, when you see it from the other side and you see both heaven and hell, and you realize that they are both real. I'm not saying be scared, because I myself would never serve the creator out of fear. He is all things godly and pure love and pure compassion. What I'm saying is you should fear him reverently. Um, you're going to have to look him in his sweet, sweet face while he asks you your intentions in life. And I'm just trying to help you guys understand that how much he loves us all, you guys, and he needs us all the shiny souls that he made, to recognize that what I'm saying is true, and just start talking to him so that you can let him know that it's okay. I know this might sound weird and maybe something like you've never heard before, but he's shy, he's been hurt, he's been seared, electrocuted, memories beyond torture. You guys, Illuminati, superhuman endurance, torture, twinning, all the things that I wrote about in my essays. It's like it's MK Ultra programming, and in a sense, it's run on each and every one of us because we are programmed by our outside influences. No matter who you think you are, what you're programmed by or influenced by. I mean, if you, I don't really want to go in that direction, but if you're going to be influenced by something, be influenced by your soul and by your DNA attachment to the creator. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Today, you guys, on my Facebook, I posted that the Pope and all these interfaith religions are meeting on Mount Sinai, which, get this, Sin AI. It's Sinai, Sinai, the sin of AI, which is artificial intelligence back to Enoch. You know what I'm saying? It's what the creator is like I said before, in all due respect, like this machine man. He's like all, as he showed himself to me as the Milky Way, and you could see the earth within it. And I saw things from up above. I saw him as everything. I saw him as an ancient old white being, uh, very beautiful and shiny. So the prince that was shown to us on stage and all the sex, that was because sex sells. Um, it was also because, he was used in a sense, and that's why the slave, it wasn't just a slave to Warner Brothers, it was an actual sex slave with occult forces. There's a lot of things, like I said, in the background, you guys. I gotta watch Conan the Barbarian. He has, relations with the woman, and they do crazy things like that actually take place. And if you watch the Get Off concerts from way back, or the performances, they're like orgies on stage. And he was trying to depict those things to us. It wasn't that he was those things, it was just a depiction of what is. And it's not just him. I just, on my TikTok, you guys, I made some videos, the Pride Piper TikTok, and about the screams. I was told that the screams, like I said, the magazines depict him as the scream machine, but all those screams were real. They tortured him, and then they forced him to put those screams into the music, which is why he was always known to be working all the time, making music all the time. And these other people, things, entities that wanted to be rich and famous as well, he was always working for them too. So because he is everything, because he can do all those things. He can be with me, and he can be with you, and he can be with the world, and with the animals and squirrels and bunnies and babies all at the same time. And he just is, you guys. He just is. Our generation has been sold religion by media, mostly. You have a holy Bible in every hotel drawer, okay? But our world is a living mess, like a moppy, soapy bucket that needs to be cleaned, you guys. And that's because souls aren't clean. But that's what I'm here for, because I'm trying to let you guys know that I think a lot of people, they get scared of being like, I don't blame you for not wanting to go and profess these words and be this and act like that. And what I'm talking about is the John 3:16 that's been sold in the world that I always talk about, is a lie. It's what Constantine was able to sell. And that is Old Man Johnson's farm. And that if you say the words of John 3:16, that you'll be saved. And when you go to heaven, your soul is good to go. And or that this man who in Christianity took the place of the creator and hung on a cross and spilled blood just so that you could live your nasty lifestyle. No, that's what they want you to think. And like I said, our generation has been sold that real allegiance by media. You see, again, the Bibles in the hotel rooms, the pastors on the TVs, uh, all of them. It's a disgusting, disgusting charade. But they think, and they were told, well, if you put it all out there, everybody's bound to believe you and call people like me crazy. Some of them, not all of them. And that is just the absolute truth, you guys. There is no one scripture that is going to save your soul. You're the help that you're looking for, because the Creator lives in you, in your DNA, in your heart. He's looking for a clean heart. The Bible's like, oh, he's looking for a spotless church and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And which church is it going to be? Yada, yada. How about you start with your heart and your soul, and you give him a good heart to work inside of? When you pray, you don't say any magic words. It doesn't work like that, you guys. You just, I don't know. I mean, maybe you have to want to be good deep down in your heart, and just tell him what you're sorry for. Tell him what you don't want to do again. Tell him what you want to make better. Tell him what you want to work on, and thank him for what he's done for you, even the little things, because it's everything. As long as you're real and true and not lying, you guys, that's another reason that I was chose to do this. It's not because I'm all. It's because he knew that even when I make mistakes, and I would come back and do it again, because that is what I have done my whole entire life. Is I just keep trying and trying and trying and trying to be as good as I can and tell the truth as much as I can. And I want other people to feel what I feel, and to know that the connection that they can have to the Creator is very real, because I don't have it because I'm special. I have it because he chose me, because of the sheer loyalty and love and dedication to be really who I am, and to tell the world who he is, because I guess others before me couldn't or wouldn't, or I'm not sure. It's isolating to have the world think that you're crazy. Not the world, but my my small circle of people anyway. I don't. Soon enough, some people will know. They'll see. I know I ramble a little bit, you guys. It's going to happen, but I wanted to get back to something that the reincarnated souls. Because if you watch the 1318 explanation video, which is the wisdom of Revelation 1318, I was thinking that something might happen on November 13th because of the dates, but I probably need to stop doing that. But I was hearing that something could happen on the 16th. I don't know, because the 16th is, well, I know you can't see that. I've explained it before that the 6,000 years that we're pushing, I think it's like 5,783 or something like that in Hebrew years. So almost 6,000 years, you guys, and people are still twiddling their thumbs waiting on this dude that we've been sold named Jesus. And they think that someday, when is that someday? That's where they want to keep you complacent, twiddling your thumbs, believing that you can eat all the fast food you want, throw your cigarette butts out the window, you can abuse your wives, abuse your children, and go to church on Sunday and say John 3:16 and be good with God, the Lord, when you stand before him. And he told me that even though he loves each and every one of us unconditionally, and we are just who he wants us to be, you have to want to be good, dude. You don't get to stand before him and lie, because you need to think about this. Think about your life like this right now. You know how CCTV captures everything? They put it on all the channels. Our lives are, in essence, like captured. I was talking about holographic memory. The Creator and angels and watchers, or whatever they are, I'm not sure, every single thing that you say and do, and I mean everything, when you're under your covers at night, when you're in the bathroom touching your phone after you don't wash your hands, from the grotesque to the minor, you have to want to be clean. You have to want to be a vessel that the Creator wants to come and be near. You know what I mean? Now, if I understand it right, I do remember this from my life after life. In the beginning, the Hebrew people, the reason why I think a lot of the laws and things like that, I need to say this, and I want to be respectful and say it the right way. There are so many laws given to them because in the very beginning, they were laws that needed to be kept because of how holy the Creator is, and also, if I'm not mistaken, he made them especially harsh, the laws, so that nobody could really come near him or something like that, because he was all alone in that place called Merom. And so the Hebrew people and all the torturous, horrible things that have been done to Jewish people and everything like that, they've clung really hard to that religion and trying to keep these laws and things like that. And when I was in my life after life, it was explained to me that by them doing that and in their lineages and stuff, that they said that alone, that keeping those laws and doing all those things the way that they were taught, which is what God taught, is what made them righteous and was going to give them a path to God. And I said, well, that's not fair. How can people who have never been taught all these laws or the truth and then been taught this New Testament and this dude named Jesus, and how are we supposed to come near to God? How is that supposed to happen? And then he explained to me that because I had always been looking for him, that I would be something called a Balchuva, which is somebody who finds God by themselves, and that my doing this would create a path for other people like you guys, and other people in the world that have been falsely taught on Christianity. It's like I'm standing here holding this gate open, to the truth. And even if it sounds completely foreign to you guys, it's the truth. And like I always say, it's not my truth, it's the truth. And your soul will tell you what's true, because your soul is going to pull you this way or that way. I just have to say the words. The Creator will do the rest, because it's his DNA that's in you. And I'm just trying to let you know that, because I know that things are going to happen really, really soon, you guys. He's going to show himself. And then, I don't know, man. I don't know if I know that he will. It's redemption. I know that some things are going to go down. I have this feeling that it will be this month, and it will be very shortly. And it could be the 16th or 19th, because as in 9/11, look, 9/11, 2001. But in gematria, you can discount the ones, okay? But in upside down writing, you guys, it's just 9/1, which is pi, okay? I know. You probably don't understand unless you watch my other videos. On 11/16, you guys, it's going to be 11/16/2022, okay? But if you don't duplicate the ones, and see, then you just have one, and you don't duplicate the sixes, then again you have 1/6, which is the same as 9/11. It's just the opposite. See, 9/11 and 11/16. So whether or not these things that I remember from my life after life, which again had something to do with reanimation, trying to take all the energy or something that the Creator had left, or I'm not really sure what, with CERN and portals. Sometimes I feel like this world that we're in now, when spring of 2020 and COVID and everything came on, you guys, the lyrics to the song, oh, I can't think of it. How'd they learn hypnosis? How'd they keep me under for so long? One of those songs, they talk about changing time. The keepers of time, changing your state of mind. It's all done with programming, you guys. Media, propaganda. I don't mean to like scare anybody or anything. I don't. It's not why I come here and say I feel like something is going to happen, but I do remember something from my life after life. I don't know what. In my mind, it's something to do with Asia and East meets West. And the fact that World War III, that the Pope took office, Francis Jorge, took office on 3/13/13, which is WWW, which is World War III. So anyway, on that date between 3/13/13 and 11/16, there are 3,535 days, which is 808, which has something to do with Maui, which is the I am, which I don't know. I don't know if there is going to be a World War III, or if it's just the rumblings and grumblings of it. But I remember this, you guys. I remember speaking with the Creator, and help me say this right. I said something earlier about a redo, that neither side wanted to give in. Like, this evil had tweaked time and tricked time, and like I said, tried to make a clone and a reproduction of the intellectual property so that they could make a reproduction of the Creator, which is the whole reason for MK Ultra programming in the beginning, and cloning and twinning and everything else. It's I don't know if we have these existences that you can see before you in another place, but I know that our souls are attached, like I said. So that's what gives me the bravery too, and the courage to come here and talk, is because I know that even if it doesn't make sense to you today, that it changes things for the Creator and in the upper world, and I'm doing my job. So, you guys, everybody's intellectual property is like the light of the world. It's your soul, okay? And so I ask you before I go to look deeply into your hearts and souls, and ask yourself, even if you are a believer in Jesus Christ and you have professed on John 3:16, the Creator doesn't care. I did too. I was baptized in water in 1994. As long as you're calling him, it's okay. But you have to learn that you're not talking to anybody when you're calling on the name of Jesus. It just isn't. It isn't, you guys. 3:16 is actually the opposite of pi, P-I-E. I've explained it, or pi, which is the 1-6 or the 1-9 that I just showed you. It's pi. It's why every ICR number in the investigation starts with 1-6. It's all a code. But anyway, that's why the 3:16, and that's why he used the phrase, we went riding down by old man Johnson's farm, because Johnson spells John 3:16 in gematria. So yes, there was a lie perpetrated on the world for the purposes of making your soul deny its true essence and separating yourself from your root. People, you have so much shiny. Think of yourself as like a disco ball, man. You got all this shiny stuff in you. Even if you have hard times, even if you just lost a loved one or a child to CPS's claws and clutches, even if you're going through hell right now, you have a shiny soul that connects to the Creator, and you can talk to him. You guys, you go somewhere. You don't listen. I never prayed in public because I was too embarrassed. I was going to say the wrong thing. So every time I prayed, I would always go to a nice quiet place, and, in the woods, in the pool, wherever, just wherever I could be alone so that I could talk out loud, because it's important that you speak out loud as well, because just like I'm talking out loud right now, it brings things into being, which is why in the beginning the Creator spoke life. And you have to speak out loud, because you can't just, thinking in your head is okay sometimes, especially if you want to start there. But when you start to talk out loud to the Creator, and you start to talk about the things that hurt you in your heart, the things that you actually feel bad for, that you want to take accountability for, that you want to change in your life, you feel so free and so unencumbered and so in touch with your surroundings, because what you do is you bring your oneness together. Look, this book, you guys, it's called Return to Your Root. It's by Rav Dror Casciuto, and you can get it on amuna.com, and Amazon, you guys. It's really inexpensive. It's only $5, and it's called Return to Your Root. And it helps you in a really simple way to understand how DNA like works, and Kabbalistic, a couple of Kabbalistic things that will help you. You guys, I told my kids this, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. When you put on your glove, because if you're in Michigan like me, it's snowing, put on your glove, you're a soul in a body. When you take that glove off, this body is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. You're a soul, you guys. And your soul, like after the Creator shows himself, and he will, people are going to want to say, oh, I want to be close. Oh, I believe. Oh, I see. Oh. And that will be fine. But this is the thing. It's like that's what faith is. Emunah with an H, Emunah. In Hebrew, it spells faith. And having faith is believing without seeing. And I know that that's hard in this day and age because of the things going on around us. But if you see him and then try to believe, you're not really having that same faith. And though you will get credit for the faith, you want to try to touch base with your creator before you can see him, because I mean, he just wants to be loved and to love you. And people need to do that because that's what's going to make the world light and shiny and make redemption come. Because if you were the creator, would you want to come here when people don't even think about you or pray to you or acknowledge you? Think about the song Acknowledge Me. So many lyrics, you guys. But I think it'd be a lot easier for people once they realize that you don't, because I don't care. I've met a lot of Christians through my life, you guys. I've been to every kind of church there is, Catholic, Christian. I went to the Kingdom Hall. I went to what you call, spiritual Black churches. I've been to all of them. I've done my studies. And the one thing that I know is people are super quick to defend and feel offended when you say the words that I'm saying, that Jesus isn't real. It's blasphemy. Oh, what has he done for you? What did the man named Jesus do for you? What did the Creator do for you? Who gave you life? Who gave you DNA? Who gives you breath? Who makes your machine run? Who got you up out of bed this morning? It wasn't some fake figure that media says died on a cross for you. Okay, that's the same as Superman and Batman and the Marvels, you guys. Come on. The Illuminati, the KKK, the NWO, they see us as terribly stupid, terribly stupid. They put games like Monopoly in front of us and games like life in front of us. They think that they can hide things like, they hide things in plain sight is what I was going to say. And then like I was going to say, Disney World, and then it's Mickey and Minnie, and it's Minneapolis. It's our generation has been broke down by media, you guys. It's a media breakdown. It surrounds us at every turn. And see, myself, I disconnected fully many years ago from television. And I just figured, man, if there's something I want to know, I'm going to go find the information. I just was never able to rely on somebody to bring me information. And even when I tried, I'm like, okay, where did this information come from? Okay, you're a pastor. You're this. Where did you get your information? And so knowledge is a pursuit, you guys. And so I kept looking, and it led me back to the Hebrew version, which in Christianity, the Hebrew version is completely buried. And we see, Jerusalem on TV and, doing things and people we don't understand, and prayer shawls and rocking and blocking their eyes. And what you don't realize is how good those people are trying to be in their soul. But from what I understand, there's a lot of things, I'm going to leave that alone because I don't want to say anything wrong. But what I'm saying is that's who the Creator chose to give his truth to, and by way of Christianity and Kingdom Hall, their little Wake News magazines, and $80 million tax-free charity in Canada, the X Center, all of those Islamic, all of them, you guys. And now, turn on your TV, Biden's Build Back Better, which is also 666 or BBB. 666, you guys, is out there with Asia, doing things with Asia. It concerns me, and I want everybody to be as brave as they can be and attached to the Creator in the best and truest, most honest way that they can. And that's why I'm willing to come here and be my truest, most honest self. Thank you for listening. I saw I had some watchers. I'm going to go. I'll see you guys soon. Go watch the rest of the videos. Please like and subscribe. Mwah. Love you to pieces. Truly, I do.